Hello everyone. Hello everybody. Today we have the beginning of a sequence of 13 lives that we will have during the next few months. We are starting our sequence of 13 lives with a special guest. This special guest is a lady that is very, very special to the communities here on Madeira. She has a very important role on the development and also on the team building of the digital nomadism on Madeira Island, and that's why I wanted to start the sequence of lives with 𝗠𝗶𝗰𝗵𝗲𝗹𝗶. 𝗠𝗶𝗰𝗵𝗶𝗲 has been a remote working social impact entrepreneur for several years, with expertise in education, in business, and developing and marketing and sales, and community building, which is my purpose here today, inviting her and wanting really for her to participate on this live as my first guest. She worked with hundreds of international remote workers as well, and she has developed many exclusive programs. So I'm going to invite her. And first of all as well, thank you for being present and participating on our live today. I'm going to see where she's about. There she is. I already did, so let's see.
Hello, Sophia. Hi.
How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I'm good as well. Thank you for accepting my invitation. Thank you for opening this sequence of 13 lives about the digital nomadism. I am very pleased that you accepted my invitation from the first moment, and it could only be you, like I said last time we met, to open these lives that we're going to have from now until January. I would like you to introduce yourself. Even though I have already said a bit about yourself, but you have to do it yourself because you do it with good feeling and good vibes.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me here, Sophia. I'm very excited. I think it's very cool and amazing what you do also for Madeira Island. Basically, we work together in attracting more people there and putting Madeira Island on the map as an amazing destination for tourism, but also for remote work tourism. And that is basically what I do. So I am the CEO and the founder of the Nomad Escape, and we host business and network events for digital nomads, online entrepreneurs, and remote working professionals in different beautiful locations in the world. But my favorite one and the most important one is Madeira Island, and that is where my heart is. That is where I live. Actually, I'm not really a digital nomad myself anymore. The digital nomad within me died in Madeira Island. I chose to stay there and have that as a base and travel around.
Okay, that's a good introduction. That leads me to my first question as well. So, how did you arrive to Madeira Island? Why did you come here? What made you come to Madeira Island and discover this paradise that we have here?
Yes. Well, I found out about Madeira Island about actually 4 years ago. It really came on my radar. I moved to Portugal, to Lisbon, actually, and I lived in Lisbon. And we started the Nomad Escape basically like from Lisbon. In origin, we were a travel company. We drove, for example, from Lisbon to Rome. And then we did a few trips, and I was like, hey, I would like to explore some islands around. And then I saw Madeira Island. And it was not much spoken about then in the media yet, especially for digital nomads or for younger people basically traveling around. It was not a very known destination yet. And I was like, hey, that's what I love. I love to go to places that are not so known yet. I love to show people that also outside of these common places, you can have a great experience, you know, when it comes to remote working and also working with local communities. I really enjoy that Madeira was so open to receiving us. And basically, this was before the whole digital nomad village. There was nothing known about Madeira. We were the first group coming to Madeira Island, having a 3-week digital nomad experience there. And I came then in touch actually with APM, with the promotion board of Madeira and also Startup Madeira. And they really loved our initiative. And they said, like, hey, Michelle, you need to keep on coming back. This is great. Like, we've never seen this. Do you want to work with us? And basically, we were working then on a whole contract, whole agreement. And then the pandemic happened. So we were then in Azores Islands with the whole group. And then the lockdown happened. And in that period, we were planning to go back to Madeira Island, but we couldn't. So then we were stuck in Azores for a period and in Algarve. But as soon the borders a little bit opened, I organized a trip. Yeah. I jumped in the plane. I was like, I'm off to Madeira.
Oh, that's
Yes.
so beautiful.
Yes.
So good. As Madeiran, I feel so happy and privileged
Yeah.
to have people that can really impact and take the word of Madeira through the world and like you do.
Yes.
It really is fantastic. Um, I'd like also to ask you if you found any challenges, coming to Madeira. If you did, what sort
Hmm.
of challenges did you find?
Hmm.
Basing yourself, having the chance to develop this remote work and also building yet now the Nomad Escape. So what challenges did you face?
Yes. So a lot has changed from the moment that I started until now. There was a
Hmm.
massive increase of remote workers, of course, but also the facilities became way better. So I think about 2 years ago, of course, the initiative from Startup Madeira with the help of Gonzalo Hall, they started the Digital Nomad Village, of course, the world's first Digital Nomad Village. It got a lot of attention. And while that was growing, the facilities were also growing. So, basically the locations, the accommodations were more remote work friendly. Hotels and restaurants started accepting people also working there with their laptop. So you see that it has increased a lot, but at the beginning, um, there was a challenge of explaining people what we are actually doing. Like, hey, we are here with a laptop and we are working. It's like that concept was not totally clear yet. Was also not, like common that people would rent a space for a longer time and then ask, for example, for a desk and a chair, really a setup for working there. That was a challenge. And basically, I think the public transport, which is still a little bit a challenge, I think, for a lot of people who just travel temporarily to the islands. I personally, I have a scooter, I have also a car to my access, which makes it very easy to get around at the islands. The biggest challenge is, I think, for people who are not able to have their own vehicle is, for example, going from Ponta de Sol, where there's a lot happening in the digital nomad village, to Funchal, to the capital, or to travel around. And there are buses, I guess, like once an hour, but it's not super friendly to travel around. So I
Takes long,
think,
yeah. Takes long
yes,
from one
yes.
village to the other, yeah.
It's beautiful sightseeing though. If you have the time and if you want to see the island, you can
Yeah.
definitely grab the bus. But it's not time friendly indeed. So I think like transport, that was the biggest challenge still is the facilities, but it's like really improving. And also when we arrived, there was no community at all. So we were the only group really there. So if we wanted to meet other people, it was not possible yet then. Now that's really growing. There's amazing events. Like we have also partnered like Madeira Friends, was
Yeah.
before Madeira Fitness Friends, to do a lot of activities.
Yeah.
So great initiatives around the island. And you see that it's really, really blooming and booming. And it also takes time, of course. Some people compare it like, oh, to Bali or whatever, but it has been already 10 years a hotspot. And this is only for the last 2 years, and then also with the start of the pandemic. So if you see the evolvement, it's going to be only better and more beautiful and more embraced also by the local community, which is very important, I think, because it's a different lifestyle, brings different challenges, but also a lot of opportunities, which is great. And I'm very excited for the future. Yes.
Oh, that's good. So you just took the ride from the appearance of the digital village, and then you started developing what you were already
Yes.
doing, which
Yes.
is fantastic, and it has increased in such a little period of time. You have developed it so beautifully. For the ones that are participating in our live and don't know or didn't know, last weekend. There was a huge event promoted by all these communities, by everybody participated, and it was such a huge event. It created a big impact on the population as well. And I think that's what is happening here with these communities, and also with the Nomad Escape, especially because that's Marie's speciality, isn't it? So to
Yes.
promote retreats, to promote events, to partner and joint venture all the time with other communities and other organizations that want to you know to make the life of a digital nomad easier. So to work, but also to be together, to gather together, and to debate, also to do a bit of network, and that is fantastic. So Madeira is also growing and developing on this stage. It's very recent, as you did say, but you can see that it is gradually. It's going like baby steps, but these steps are very steady. And as Madeiran, and I really am loving this new trend that is probably here to stay and to carry on. That leads me to my next question. You already mentioned a bit about it, why you're passionate about Madeira when you were stuck between Algarve and the Azores. But what made you really, I really want our viewers to hear from you with all your heart. What made you stay in Madeira?
Madeira is magic. I traveled around the world. I traveled for a year nonstop in Australia. I traveled through Asia. I lived for 6 years in South America. I traveled throughout whole Europe. And personally, I think Madeira is the most magical place where I have been, because the scenery is so unique. It's such a mixture between different continents. So let's say it's the biggest banana plantation and export in Europe, right? A lot of people don't know that. And so everywhere you go, it's just lush green, and you have the banana trees, which makes you think that you're in Bali, actually. Like, I lived in Bali for a while. I'm like, wow, even more, like, you see it in Madeira even more than in Bali, that banana plantations, I think. I haven't seen so many in Bali, actually. So when you're driving around and you see these lush, beautiful, plantations, and then you drive around the corner, suddenly there's a waterfall. You drive a bit further, you enter a beach with beautiful volcanic sand, black sand, like very, very unique, actually. And then you drive around a little bit up into the mountains, and you're literally above the clouds. And all of this, this lush nature, this beautiful, incredible scenery, in combination with the Portuguese architecture and culture, and the comfort of Europe, the safety, the facilities are good, the roads are good. I mean, I left my wallet on my car one night in the city center. It was still there. You don't have to try that in other parts of the world. So all the good things in life come together, I think, in Madeira. And I think what a lot of people also talk about, that there's a very calm energy. So if you want to, even though like if you're spiritual or not, but if you want to focus, if you really want to focus on your business, on your health, on your mindset, this is a great place to, live between nature and also the beauty that a small city like Funchal has to offer. Yeah, it's just incredible. Like I cannot even explain it to people for me, how it feels to live there. I am personally now, and that's why I don't have the beautiful setting. I am in the Netherlands making this call. I'm visiting my parents, And normally I would show you the surroundings, but I couldn't at this moment. But yeah, the energy, the climate, it's like always nice weather. It's never too hot, it's never too cold. That's why it's called the Island of Eternal Spring. And they also call it like the Hawaii of Europe. And I had two people, it was last summer, joining my programs at the Nomad Escape, and they flew in all the way from Hawaii. And I was sitting then at, I think, Savoy at a hotel, and there was a background, of the beautiful scenery in the ocean, and people said like, wow, that is beautiful. It's like, thank you, but you live in Hawaii, right? And they were like, yeah, but we want to come to Madeira, we want to see that. I was like, wow, I'm so honored that you fly all the way from Hawaii to Madeira Island to check out this beautiful place. And also, of course, because of the community, because what we do there is pretty unique in the world. And also with the Nomad Escape is very different than different other programs. Like we focus really on helping people building their network, their skills, their business, basically a network club. And everything combined with that, with the support also of, for example, Startup Madeira. They do great initiatives. If we host an event, they support, they promote us. And then also, of course, there are like the digital nomad visas, like different offers from the government, tax benefits for people who make income abroad, which makes it more attractive to stay here.
I could stay here the whole day, hearing, listening to your lovely speech about Madeira. But that's really what it is. If we have some spectators here, some viewers that are not from Madeira, jump in, discover this small paradise. It's the pearl of the Atlantic, and it is really what most people, most foreigners say. And Marie is also enchanted by this lovely island. What do you think about the locals? Are we sociable? Can you interact? What did you feel in the beginning? And now this because you're here already for 4 years, right? So what's your impression? How did it go in the beginning? How is it now? So we can tell our viewers what to expect when they decide to come.
Yes, I think they're very sweet people, very humble, very caring as well. Yeah, seriously, I think it's great. That makes it also great for us to live there, because I think we're, received with open arms. There is a big difference, of course, between people who live like more in crowded areas, like in Funchal, or like really in the mountain villages where I also visited, and these people are not, so known with what is happening maybe in the city and when it comes to digital nomadism. So the communication there is maybe less smooth, but still so friendly, so warm, always in for a poncha or offer you a bolo de caco, the local bread, all these local yummy things.
Or a piece of fruit.
Yes. It's just incredible. And I think also there's more and more events where you see locals and the nomads or expats mix. And for example, last weekend I was at that other event where you're just talking about, and I hosted a mastermind session there, for example. And there was a local artist who was making an artwork also in the event, and he participated in my workshop. And then he came to me after and he says, Michelle, I'm so happy that people like you are here, because it expands our horizon. We understand a little bit more what is happening abroad, and how we also can get access to, for example, opportunities abroad without leaving this paradise, because there's possibilities to, for example, work online. And also people who come to the island, like for example me, I work with locals, so I hire locals as well and give them opportunities to like see how it is to work in an international organization. So yeah, I think it's a beautiful mix. And of course there's still, like some education to be done, more understanding, but you're talking about like integration and assimilation, basically, where the two really merge. And that's processes that can take a while, of course, and understanding and maybe even a generation. but it's very welcoming. And yeah, I feel at home every day. I feel very welcome. I have a lot of local friends now as well. So yeah, that's great.
Fantastic.
It's really
Oh,
great.
I'm
Yeah.
so happy. I really
Yes.
I'm happy that you feel home. That's what we want every day when we embrace foreign people that decide to come here. Either they come on holiday or
Yeah.
come here to work like you and others. We see that the villages are growing now. The
Hmm.
nomad villages are growing. They are more displaced now. We don't have only in 𝗠𝗶𝗰𝗵𝗲𝗶. There are in other parts of the island, and that only speaks for itself. It speaks that
Yes.
really what you just said, and I really am grateful for your enchant of
Yes.
for our island. And that's also um, definitely what my decision on on starting these lives, on promoting the island this way, but also wanting to show the world that Madeira has this new era of development and digital nomadism, and
Hmm.
that it is growing on a pace that
Yeah.
is accessible to anyone that wants to follow this path. So that's why
Yes.
I chose you. Obviously, um, one comes to work and one does its remote work, one becomes a digital nomad, but one needs also to relate with other
Yes.
digital nomads. One does not sit and work only. He needs to relate. He needs to follow other understandings, to
Yeah.
sometimes to trade knowledge, friendships, and that's what you do. So that's why I was so mesmerized when I saw your work. When I first saw you, I already told you. The first time I saw Michelle Marie was on a startup retreat, and I was so mesmerized how she, from a banana tree, she could take it, she could eat everything. So she presented a project that was out of the box, and I was already from that time following your work, and more and more and more seeing how you are growing, how you can create this um, team building and creating events and masterminds, which are very important nowadays, and attracting also other nomads uh, to Madeira, your second home, I suppose. Now,
Yes.
right?
My
Now,
first home now, actually,
oh, your
to be
first.
honest.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
then it's fantastic. Then it's fabulous. I know that you are also promoting an event um, very soon. I'd like you to talk about it. I'd like you to to show to our viewers what you are programming for the near future, so they can also follow you. I would also like you to write on the comments your social media, where they can find you, how can they reach you, so we can attract more in a good way, attract more good people that will also be enchanted by Madeira Island as you are.
Sure.
So
Thank you.
would you like to
Of
present
course.
your event?
Yes, of course, of course. Yeah. So what we do basically upcoming December. So in November and December we have two events. In November we host from the 24th until the 30th of November. We host the Level Up Club. That's a small, intimate mastermind and business retreat where about 15 entrepreneurs come together to brainstorm about their ideas, challenges, situations in business that they're now with, and they support each other. So we have people from all different industries and backgrounds coming really for a week to deep dive into challenges and finding solutions and inspiration, basically. And directly the week after, we're going to host the 25th edition of the Nomad Escape. So it's the 25th retreat that we host. It's like a big number, it's a big festivity for us, but also for Madeira Island. It's now our 10th edition actually in uh, actually a big retreat, how you can call it, or a mini unconference. We will host about 100 online entrepreneurs, digital nomads, and remote workers in the Digital Nomad Village. And exclusive locations where we're gonna host different expert talks, masterminds, events, activities, but really by experts. So we have top-notch speakers, world-class speakers from all around the world, like Cameron Harold. I just posted about him. He's a world-class business consultant. He has helped over hundreds of international businesses, like really driving a lot of revenue growth, and worked with big platforms such as Forbes, Mind Valley, Entrepreneur magazine, but also Jimmy Lorraine. He is one of the world's biggest course creators and helped over 500,000 people creating also their online courses through platforms like Udemy or Mind Valley. We have Chris Reynolds. He has the M3 Entrepreneur podcast. He interviews the biggest online entrepreneurs in the world. So what we really want to do by attracting these people to Madeira Island is to really set a certain standards in the level of type of people that is coming here. Not only people who only say, for example, like, oh, it's cheaper, you know, these things are attractive in the island, but also bringing quality there, like level of knowledge, international knowledge, and really helping people on aspects of marketing, sales, mindset, health, wealth, business scaling, and growth in general. And that is where our event is really focused on, to help people finding the right people and finding the right connections to really grow their skills, network, and business, and really make the jump to the next level. Because the people who joined us, if anyone would reach out to them, I think everyone who has ever joined us at our events, they got out of it that they found new business partners, new clients, new mentors, new collaborators, launched a new product. And we're now even calculating like how much revenue that was driven through our networks. And I think that is very unique for what we do, because a lot of people also see like, oh, digital nomads only like backpackers with a laptop. Yes, we have a certain lifestyle. Yes, we embrace freedom, and we embrace sneakers instead of like, office clothes. We really focus more on the quality of life than only the physical things like fancy cars. However, material cars, material items, we can afford it, but we prefer lifestyle and being in nature instead of like the classical ways of wealth, basically. We also call it like the new rich. That's like a new way of living where other people have big mortgages, and a lot of debt to have a certain lifestyle. We don't go that direction. We have a lot of freedom and are able to travel the world and live in amazing places. I hear your doggy.
Yes, my dog. The neighbor is barking, so
yes, even though we're live, like he needs some attention.
Exactly. But he's calm now. She's calm now.
She can come live as well.
This is the advantage of having a remote shop. You can be in the comfort of your home.
Exactly.
And you have your dog, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's part of the quality of life that one gained, and one doesn't want to give up again. And this is one of my advantages as well, which I don't want to give up. I love being able to work from where I want.
Yes, exactly.
For example, next week we're going to have our second live, and I'm not going to be in Madeira like you also are in Holland, but it will happen as long as you have access.
Exactly.
And your phone, everything happens, and it will be fantastic. I have a last question for you.
Sure.
What do you think about this trend, this digital nomadism? Do you think it's here to stay, or do you think it's a thing that will expand globally? Because we know there are some parts in the world that still are very going slowly with this issue, like we also did, like the pandemic had to happen, and then so many markets. So many ways of working were changed and were replaced and transformed. So do you think this is a kind of a explosion that came to stay, or do you think this is just a leap of faith at the moment, and then it will just
My predictions, of course, based on what I've seen in the past years, it's growing. daily, and the amount of people that apply is increasing, and also the ages are shifting. So where before the average age that applied for our programs was between 28 and 45, now I see students of 18, 19 years old applying for our programs until people were 65 or in their late 50s and say like, hey, I have always worked in this bank or an insurance company, very corporate, and now for the first time I'm able to leave the office for, I don't know, 3 weeks a month, and I'm coming, for example, to Madeira. Or they realize as well, they're able to build a business online, not only work, as an employee for a company online, but also, create your own income, create your own presence online. So there's a big shift happening. I think it's here to stay. It's actually inevitable, like everything goes more digital and online. I think like the trends, that will disappear maybe. The word digital nomad, I am not sure if that is going to stay. Hard to say, but I think it's going to be normalized, where it was first very special to sit with your laptop at the beach or go somewhere. It's becoming the new normal. So I think that the trend is going away, but the lifestyle and the way of working, that will be here to stay. Absolutely. However, I'm a big remote work advocate. I think it's, it gives a lot of people a lot of freedom, way more space, also basically your physical and mental health. So where you would sit, for example, I'm now in the Netherlands, and my apologies for the light. Normally I have light in Madeira, the correct light, but I'm now sitting, for example, in the dark. And I notice here already, by being here a few days, how this affects your health, being a lot inside, being behind the laptop, where in Madeira Island, for example, I can go there. Okay, of course I work as well. I'm a lot behind the laptop, but then I close the laptop and I go for a run at the beach. I go, like have a beautiful walk. I go into the mountains. So the balance, your work-life balance is way higher, which I think is even more important when you work online. So let's say you have a traditional job, you work at a school or whatever, you work as a waitress, which I both did for, I don't know, over 15 years as a waitress and a teacher. You're not staring at a laptop and you're working with people and you're very physically active. So I think you would need it less then, but you're still stuck to one location. Where you as a teacher, back in the days, like, I love to work with people. I love to work with kids. I just really love it. But then I was like, but I would love to go now to Madeira. It was not possible. I had to ask for a holiday, for example. So, like, I think it's going to expand. I think it's going to grow. It's going to become the new normal. Only the terminology per se, digital nomad, not sure if it's going to stay. Because I think it's also a lot of misconception about the word itself. People ask me literally like, hey, I want to become a digital nomad, or Michelle, do you have a job as a digital nomad? And the thing is, digital nomad, actually, it doesn't exist as in a job. It is not a job. It is a lifestyle. Exactly. So I think that is where, especially like people who work in the industry, like including myself, but also maybe governments, can educate people better about like, okay, you're able to travel the world. You're able to take your laptop and sit at the beach. But you need to work. And most of the time you work even harder and more hours, and you take not so many breaks, where when you work back in the office, you go to the coffee machine and have the coffee and talk to your colleague, because you're very focused and you need to be able to deal with a lot of like uncertainties, different time zones, etc. So to answer your question, I believe it's here to stay and it's gonna expand. But what the trend will be around it, I'm not sure how it's gonna evolve. Like if it's gonna be a certain specific lifestyle still, or it's just gonna be the new normal. Yeah.
I agree with you. That's why I asked that the question, because we see that more and more enterprises, the companies itself, so corporates, they are opting for this. They are opting to give the choice to their workers to work from home, to work from wherever they want, as long as the job, as long as the work is the task you have to do on that day is done. It doesn't matter what time you're going to do it. And I also agree with you. that the fact that you go elsewhere and work on this remote sense of idea, it does demand discipline. So it's not that not because you are in an island that is such a paradise that you are going to leave what you're doing and you're going for a walk or you're going for a swim.
Yes.
Everything has times, everything has schedules. But like you say, it's the way, the environment where you are, where you live, the life that I have a very good friend, she is from Finland. And as from now, probably from November, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, it's dark. So,
yes, exactly.
So they don't see anything. And there are certain parts of Europe during the day that they don't even see broad daylight. So I think that's why this kind of people want to have this freedom. They want to be able to go elsewhere, discover, but also have a better quality of life. And quality of life does not mean, like you said, and very well said, I'm so glad you mentioned that, it's not only about the money. It's really having your mind free of all the obstacles of being in an environment where they can see the light.
Absolutely.
They can feel the ocean. They can do several things, or like you also said, very very good, very very well. We can feel that the four seasons in only one day, and and you can see the clouds there, and see the wind here, and see the sun there, and every day Madeira presents different scenery, and that's one of the best. That's one of the best advantages that a digital nomad or anyone that wants to work on this remote sense would find in Madeira, and that
exactly.
Yes. So that you accepted this invitation. We are going to follow, like I said, along the next 12 weeks with lives. They all be related to this digital and nomadism context. We will be covering the other aspects of the digital nomadism, and I really had to start today with Ms.𝗶𝗶𝗵𝗵𝗲𝗶, because she is the impact that that any remote worker needs to have when they decide to go somewhere, because she takes care of the retreat, she takes care of the team building, she takes care of the networking, and that is precious. That you can't do it on your own. You need to have an organization that promotes these events, that promotes these situations for them to attend, to be able to switch ideas, trade information, friendships. Like you said, you already have local friends. So that is one of the most impressive things that you do, besides so many others. You just have to look at one just has to read your bio and get impressed with your curriculum and with everything that you have done along these years, and also what you have promoted in what concerns an entrepreneur that needs to convert this.
Yes.
And that's what's fun, and that has no expression. There's nothing more that what we can say, that when we attend to when we have the support from an organization like yours, and can see the revenue growing and growing and growing and growing. That's the most impressive thing, because you don't only work the side of the sales and marketing, but you work the mind, you work the network, you cover all the ingredients for a fantastic cake, and the cherry on the top is ꞌMichelle-Marie.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's what it is. So thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that was viewing us, and stay tuned, because next week we're having another special lady. We are starting the lives with some ladies, and it's going to be also very, very interesting. So thank you so much for you taking your time
Thank
as
you.
well, Michelle, and we'll see you around.
I'll
Thank you,
see you
everybody.
soon. Thank you
Okay,
everyone for watching.
thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.